It's been a grueling 39 days through the mud and the torrential downpours, the starvation, 4 different tribe swaps, 8 shuffles, and a fire-making challenge in a pear tree. So, after all this time, after all this suffering, after all this exposure on national TV to millions of people ready for your blood, pick a number between 1 and 10.
Rich. Greg. Choose a number between 1 and 10.
7.
Okay. Kelly. A number between 1 and 10.
3.
Character is character.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Peridiam, and we're going to be doing a top 20. That is right, not top 5, not 10, not even 15. We have upgraded top 20. Because when I made this list at first, I was prepared for a top 10, but then I looked at the list and I realized how unprepared I really was. Truth be told, I love all of these juror speeches, so why settle for less? Here are the first 10 of the top 20 greatest juror speeches in all of Survivor. Kinda like voting for a finalist, it's all a little subjective in the end. Let's get this party started with number 20.
15 years ago, I was sitting right there. I lost by 1 vote. My fate was determined by one simple question. Jeremy, Tasha, Spencer, pick a number between 1 and 10.
Number 20 is not a number between 1 and 10, but it is Kelly Wigglesworth, 15 years later in Survivor Cambodia, asking the finalists of Jeremy, Tasha, and Spencer to pick a number from 1 to 10, similar to how she lost the game in the very first season. Of course, it's poetic, and I kinda like that. Kelly may not have had much to say over the season, but this one moment left a big toothy grin on my face. Although, I will say, it is a little bit disappointing that this wasn't the vote that gave Jeremy the win. Number 19, dust in the sand. Pull out your thesauruses, kids. It's learning time. Number 19 is the ever so lovely Gregory Tarzan Smith from Survivor One World, who went up and gave a really heartwarming speech out of left field. He basically just thanked the final 3 women for not voting him out 1 round earlier by keeping him in the game long enough to make the loved ones visit and spend at least a moment with his wife on the beach.
When I knew my wife was actually placing footprints upon the sands of this island and would soon be close enough to me that I can embrace her and feel her heart beat against mine, that would not have happened if you'd not kept me. So for that, I'm very appreciative.
Par for the course, he used a bunch of big words that were pretty charming, and I can't help but get a little sappy thinking about how much all of it probably meant to him. I appreciate the earnestness. Number 18. Anybody else? Some of my favorite moments at Final Tribals are when the jurors are clearly looking for one answer, only to get the exact opposite. Kinda like from Survivor Fiji when you had Lisi asking Dreams, how many zeros are in $1 million? Only for him to get the answer right, leaving her flustered and bizarrely impressed. Number 18 is not that one, but it does fall into a similar boat. It's when Heidi from Survivor the Amazon went up and asked the 2 finalists, Matt and Jenna, who they thought deserved to be in the final 2 over themselves. Both of them said Rob Cesternino, of course, but then Heidi drags her words and starts to push her luck.
I mean, I think that, is that the only person?
I think they covered it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Heidi.
Really, guys? Nobody else? Okay, might cost ya. Number 17, dead fish. I always love a good reference accompanying a rather astute and accurate summation of the game. Number 17 is, of course, it's when Corinne from Survivor Worlds Apart stood up and regaled everyone with a nice 1, 2, 3 punch to the finalists, first reminding us that, well, he sucks. Then, by comparing each of the finalists to rather appropriate animalia, Mike, the howling monkey, Carolyn, the sneaky stingray, and Will, of course, was a fish. Rest in peace.
Will is the dead fish that we dragged in with our nets. We were stoked. We willingly bit into dead fish. Almost every single one of you wanted to take Will to the end. He didn't have to make any alliance. He's a dead fish. Eyes are glazed over. Do what you want with me. And that was his poison.
And then she tops it off with a closing nod to Sue Hawk herself, dating back to Survivor Borneo. She really just hits the nail on the head quite accurately in her descriptions, makes them colorful enough to keep me grinning, and I'm always a sucker for a fun, rather fitting ending, capping off season 30 with a little bit of a snake and a rat. Number 16, smile, forgive, be happy. We're about to hit a roller coaster of love and spite over the next few entries, so strap in. It's about to get tender, but in a good way. Number 16 is one of the most tender moments in all of the Final Tribal Council's overall of Survivor. It's a really raw moment from Kat Ederson on Survivor One World. Who'd have thunk that was gonna get 2 spots on this list? Kat went up to the final 3 and she basically divulged a major piece of her life story that she was withholding from everyone for fear that they would use it against her in the game.
I went through 2 open heart surgeries when I was 12 years old. And in order for me to have kids, I have to have another open heart surgery in 12 years, which means 22, baby. It takes a lot more energy to be angry about what happened in this game. And it's a lot easier to smile and to forgive and be happy.
I mean, she admits that she is jealous of their position, but she's even more so happy for them. And I love a little bit of love every now and then. Survivor is nothing if not dynamic, and it touches upon the human condition from so many angles, forgiveness being a major component. Number 15, dumber than a bag of hammers. I'm cheating with this one, but it's a 1-2 punch between Marty and Dan Lembo from Survivor Nicaragua. Marty goes up and says one of my favorite lines at a Final Tribal Council. And really, what I love about this one so much is the back and forth between Marty and Chase. It is so immature and spiteful, and there's really nothing to be gained from either of the two of them, but I can appreciate a bit of creativity from Marty and the way Chase stands up for himself.
Dumber than a bag of hammers award, okay?
Okay.
You have to pick somebody.
I think this is kind of a BS question because I can't pick you.
Sorry, man, I made the rules. Go ahead, make
I
a
don't
choice.
believe-
Again,
Do I have to answer this question? Because I don't think that anyone is except for you.
that's cool, all right. If you don't choose to answer, that's totally your option.
And then Dan comes up and just tears into Chase, basically backing up what Marty was proclaiming. Chase, you dumb. You real dumb.
So you really let people down. You let me down tremendously.
This is Survivor, Dan.
But I'm going to tell you something, okay?
Okay.
Beauty fades. Dumb is forever.
Number 14, C of forgiveness. All right, back to love and kindness and forgiveness and freeze. Drop your weapons. Oh, wait, she already did. Number 14 is Courtney from Survivor Exile Island, who goes up and gives easily the hippy-dippiest jury speech in all of Survivor. She talked about love and peace and forgiveness and understanding, being a bird flying into orbit with Dan Fuego. It's one of those speeches where I wish I could just show you the entire thing, but alas, YouTube. Seriously, find a clip, go watch it for yourself. Courtney is just, it's very on brand, and I'm here for it.
Forgot my guns. They've been dropped in the sea of forgiveness. But I'm holding no chip on my shoulder, because chips on your shoulder of regret and anger weigh you down. And I'm a bird, so I gotta fly.
Number 13, president of the planet. Oh, where'd we go? I'm still here for it. Literally, still in Panama at the same Final Tribal Council, waiting for the next oddball Kasaya member to make an appearance. Number 13 is Shane from the same season as Courtney, who goes up and actually gives a rather unexpected speech that isn't entirely over the top or ridiculous with blackberries and thinking seats, but kinda on point. He's fair, but also funny. He drills into both of the finalists, Danielle and Aris, and basically explains why he doesn't want to vote for either of them. And he also can't abstain. So here he is. What do?
But we cannot judge people based on their intentions. If I'm judged on my intentions, I'd be president of the planet. I have to be judged on my actions. And I've learned that through experience. You are broke, you are homeless, and you freeload off your dad. So you don't know what it's like to be judged.
Number 12, antidepressants. You probably expected this one to be higher, and maybe it should be, but I will say this, the competition is something fierce. Not unlike Corinne from Survivor Gabon, who just tears into Sugar and Susie and kinda Bob with her performance.
For me, the final words I say at Tribal, it's a chance for me to be me. Right before I was voted out, I was unable to really let them have it. I would like to say the things that I wish I could have said,
if I wasn't on the chopping block.
First, she goes up and she asks Susie, if she votes for Susie, will Susie get surgery to have her vocal cords removed? But then Sugar, oh Lord have mercy. Press F to pay respects. This is easily the most brutal speech in all of Survivor. It goes so hard and it's not even close. And I don't think Corinne would have it any other way.
You are an unemployed, uneducated leech on society. And the only thing I would vote to give you is a handful of antidepressants so that no one else has to be subjected to your constant crying anymore. And maybe if you got some, then it would seem a little more sincere when you are crying about your dead father. You don't deserve the million.
Number 11, the wicked stepmother. All right, arguably a top 5. I have Reed's speech from Survivor San Juan del Sur just outside my top 10. Can you see why I didn't want to make this a top 10? Now, don't get me wrong. I get why you might have this one higher, but for me, it is both a major boon in how well rehearsed it is, but also kind of brought down for the same reason. So it's here. Top 11. I think that's pretty good. Reed really didn't like Missy. Missy didn't really care for Reed. But hey, one's on the jury and one's in the final 3. So, of course, Reed, he goes up, says a few nice things about Nat and Jack, and then gets to Missy and just reads the riot act to her, top to bottom.
The people to which you were so rude and terrible to before relegating them to the jury with the help of your alliance are going to decide your fate this evening. This is why I love fairy tales, because they always have a happy ending, and the wicked stepmother never wins.
His delivery is so eloquent, so smooth, so refined. Of course, Reed is a performer, it shows, and you know he was savoring every moment. He went so hard into Missy that even Baylor, Missy's daughter, was crying by the end of his speech. Jeff even had to give a warning to everyone that this is what they signed up for. Deal with it, guys. Sorry, this is Survivor. If you haven't noticed, there's been a lot of 1-2 combo punches in this video, and we just got another one with both Corinne and Reed. But don't worry, it gets even better. Because this is only part 1 of a 2-part video series, and part 2 is gonna have, in my opinion, 10 greatest juror speeches in all of Survivor. So let me ask you guys now, what is gonna be in the top 10? What should be number 1? Is it too obvious? Either way, my name is Peridiam saying thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed part 1. Don't forget to fan the flames on your way out, and I will see you in the next one once I figure out where I left my other glass slipper because, darling, I got a pumpkin to catch.
I want to know how many zeros there are in a million.
6, enough to keep somebody's life running and to help a lot of people.
Say that one more time?
Enough to keep somebody's life running.
No, the number of zeros?
It's 6.
Good. Good. Okay,